That's very nice. Hello, everybody. My name is Ken. I'm going to be your MC for the evening. Real quick, give a huge round of applause for that awesome poetry video from one of our judges. Give it up for Dominic Hoey. Give it up, give it up, give it up. Sweet. Awesome. Yes. Welcome to a poetry slam. Woo, woo, woo. Give a round of applause to the Hollywood Avondale for having us today, which is really awesome. This is a beautiful space. And a couple quick names real quick to some people in the room. I want to just get this real quick. Give a round of applause for Sandy Mill, a DJ over here. Give it up, give it up. Give a round of applause for Aiden, who is on our sound in the back, who's making me sound so incredibly clear. Give a round of applause for Aiden. And please give a round of applause for Tyler, who's going to be helping out in the back in this space. Give it up for Tyler. He can't hear it. Yeah. Sweet. Okay, cool. So, real quick, is there a way we can get the house lights up just a tiny bit? Just a tiny bit so I can see some folks real quick? I know you're all very well dressed and very beautiful, so I want to see you. Is that possible at all? No, it's not possible? That's an impossibility? Okay, then I'm just imagining how good looking I know you are. That's kind of creepy, actually. I'm not going to do it. But sweet, cool. By show of hands, how many folks here? This is okay. By show of hands, how many folks have ever been to a poetry slam before? Raise your hands. Nice. By show of hands, how many people are new to a poetry slam? This is the first time I've ever been to it. Give these folks a round of applause. So you got to show them how today is about, because this isn't an average poetry reading. Today is about exchanging stories. It's about interaction. It's about applauding for each other. And it's about respecting the fact that people are going to be getting up on this stage and sharing their truths. And there's a whole lot of different kind of poets on the stage. We have poets on the stage from age like 16 and way, way above that, right? To multiple 16s. So that being said, there's a lot of different experience levels, a lot of different stories. It's going to be an amazing night. But because it's not YouTube and the poets can see you, right? There's things that you can do to kind of interact and get involved with each other. And what I want us to do real quick is I want you to look around the room, even in the darkness. Your eyes might have adjusted. Turn to somebody really quickly. Find somebody that maybe you don't know so well. Maybe you said hello to them. Maybe somebody you haven't seen in a while. Turn around, look around, look around. Go, 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 go. Turn to that person, and I want you to do me a favor, real quick. Say hello to that person, shake their hand, and ask them how their week has been. Go. Shake a high five real quick. Give them a consensual hug. Don't just go for the hug. All right? On the count of three, everybody high five that person. 1, 2, 3. Not so good. Not so good. All right, cool. Awesome. Give yourselves a round of applause. And thank you very much for coming out tonight. So, a couple things you got to know about tonight. That same spirit, that same conversation, that same way of saying hello, I acknowledge you. You got to do that for the poets that are up on this stage. Cool? So that's the first thing we're going to go over tonight before we go over any of the rules and things like that. Let's say I'm a young poet, I'm getting up on the stage and I'm like sharing a story and I'm really nervous about it because it's true for me. It's something I've been holding on to for a really long time, right? Or maybe I'm a person who's been doing this for a really long time and I just need to feel energized by it, right? There are ways to let that poet know. So if I come up here and I like completely rock the mic and you all love it and you just like think that this poem was like the most amazing thing, you're like, I see you, I feel you, that's amazing, right? What are you guys going to do? I finish the poem, you're going to lose your minds, right? So ready? Here we go. We're going to practice this. I finished my poem, you applaud like crazy. Here we go. Poem, poem, I'm finished. 1, 2, 3. Give it up, you can do better than that. Give it up for those poets. Nice. Oh, I heard like the tapping, you hear that? Like the drum roll? It's like a herd of awesomeness. Oh, someone's really going off over here. This lady's like, I feel you. I got you, bearded American man. That's what's up. Sweet. Cool. So that's some ways you can do it. You can also try this. Everybody try this one. Nice little raindrops of positivity. You can also be like, ooh. Yes. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. You gotta work on your hallelujahs. This is West Auckland. I know you can do way better than that, all right? So here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hallelujah. That was pretty good. The dog roll in the front is really trying. So sweet, but that's the thing. Show applause, show love to the poets tonight, all right? Have fun with it. So, Poetry Slam. Tonight we've had several heats and an online competition in which we whittled it down to the top 10 competitors. The way the evening's going to work, poets have a random order to get up on this stage, and they're going to get up here, read an original poem. It's 3 minutes. At exactly 3 minutes, correct, the bell's going to ring in the back so the poets know that they have to wrap things up. Don't you worry about that. We just wanted to warn you that that's what's happening. If they go over 3 minutes and 30 seconds, then you know, something's going to happen. I don't know what, but they warned me that it was going to be scary. And then, yeah, audience at 3 minutes. That's it. Original poem. No props, no music that they can't make with their own body. So if somebody's singing, that's totally awesome. Beatboxing, any of that stuff, right? Audience, here's an important thing for you to know tonight. So we're going to go from 10 poets in the first round to 6 poets in the second round, to 3 poets in the final round. But between rounds 1 and 2, we're gonna have a little bit of a break. And during that break, you can see in the back, in the lobby, there's a bunch of cups back there. So we're gonna have something this year that we like to call the audience's favorite, or the people's champion, right? So what's gonna happen is, in that first round, you gotta be paying attention, and you wanna, when it's finished, you need to think about who your favorite poet is, right? And then you're gonna write that poet down on the little ticket that I think you were given, right? And then you go in the back, and you put that in the cup, and we're gonna count that up, and at the end of the night, we will announce the people's champion, in addition to whoever wins the regular poetry slam. Is everybody clear with that? Cool. So that puts the power in your hands, right? That's how the poetry slam is about. It's like giving poetry back to the people. But that being said, to run the regular poetry slam, we have selected 3 experts. So basically, we're taking the power completely away from you. But these are really nice people. Yeah, they're people, salt of the earth folks. So I'm going to introduce them really quickly. So our first judge, you got to know a little bit about him up there on the screen. Please give a huge round of applause for Dominic Hoey. Give it up, give it up, give it up. Dominic is a celebrated performance poet, author, all kinds of amazing things. He is now about to release Dead Bird Books. He's about to release his newest poetry collection, which a lot of people are really, really looking forward to. It's called I Thought We'd Be Famous. Yes, me too, Dominic. Give him a huge round of applause, and please check that book out. Our next poet, I'm going to give a round of applause. Give it up for Rhea Masai. Give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up. Rhea likes to call me Beard Fella. I don't know why, but she doesn't say my name. She just says, "What's up, Beard Fella?" It's weird. But she is a lovely human being, a powerhouse poet, a mother, an activist, all kinds of things, and she is about to be published by University of Auckland Press in their new poet series. So please give her a huge round of applause for that. And our next judge, I'm really excited about this because I really love the fact that people, like the history of things that create spaces and art where we go, right? So this judge, she was part of the first ever Going West Poetry Slam of all time. So please give her a huge round of applause for that. And she told me that it took place on a steam train, which is really cool. So please give a huge round of applause for Linda Chennai Earl. Give it up, give it up, give it up. Chennai Earl, excuse me. She's also the 2019 writer in residence at Victoria University, which is amazing. So please give her a huge, huge round of applause. Give it up for those judges. Love them now, because you may hate their decisions later, and that's okay, right? We're not going to be announcing the scores, but if you feel like the judges gave you a bad score, you can be like, boo, even though, right? Sweet. So, but mostly tonight, what we want is positivity, right? So y'all ready to have a good time? Y'all ready to have a good time? I'm going to yell at you a lot. That's what I do because I get excited and I'm really passionate about people telling the truth. So just get used to it, all right? We'll be fine. We'll get along together. It's an aqua train. We're on it together. It's going to be okay. Sweet. So, but to warm us up just a little bit more, real quick, when I say love, you say love. Love! 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 When I say word, you say word. Word! 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 All right. Also, real quick, give a round of applause for James and Carrie Rositsky for being James Little and Carrie Rositsky for helping organize this. Give it up. Give it up. Give it up. So I think that's about all we got to talk about. And I'll go through a list of thank yous in a second. But because because it's really difficult to go first in the round, we have a sacrificial poet. But before we bring that sacrificial poet up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the order of our poets. So applause all these poets. They're in the back right now. They want your love. They want you to know that you're here. So please give a huge round of applause for Marcus. Give it up for Eric. Give it up for Jesse. Give it up for Stella. Give it up for Jamie. Give it up for Rose. Give it up for Tim. Give it up for Dan. Give it up for Emma. And give it up for Abby. Applaud all those poets. Sweet. So, I'm going to welcome but because it's difficult to go first, we have something we like to call the sacrificial poet. Ooh. This is an incredible poet who's been doing this for a long time, but what I need you all to do tonight is to treat this poet like it's any other poet in the Poetry Slam. We do this so it can warm up the space a little bit, give the judges a chance to figure out what they're doing with themselves and how the night's going to go, and also just to have some fun because we like to showcase as much talent as possible, right? So, this poet is not the Marcus that is going to be going first in the slam, right? This is actually another Marcus, right? And they are a fan favorite and a favorite of mine. So please, everybody give me a drum roll. Do that stopping foot thing you did. Like, I love it. Everybody go, 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 go. And start making some noise. I want to stage your sacrificial poet. Give it up for Marcus!
I cannot express this. This feeling inside in a world so wide, how could I ever matter? How could anything anyone does really ever make a difference? There is so much life, and so little of me. I can't begin to imagine who I will ever be seen. So I will not try to tell you how I'm being swallowed whole. My vocabulary doesn't include a means to convey these feelings. The words that come from this mouth will not be used to try and make you understand. Instead, I'll tell you about Lorraine. Lorraine is a regular at Wickles Glenfield. Comes in every Sunday between 10:30 and 2. Always buys the same 2 magazines and the same $3 scratchies. Stepping 2 meters into the store, she calls me over, and our Sunday ritual begins. She says, "Good morning, sweetheart," and compliments my smile. I tell her that she is my favorite customer, and I hope the scratchies I sell her have thousands of dollars hidden beneath their painted skins. Sometimes, she brings me home baked goods for lunch. Told me once she felt I was almost like a son to her in some ways. She is the best part of my Sunday. But a few weeks ago, Lorraine scared me. She told me that she was a piece of driftwood beached on a rocky shore, that she had traveled so far and so wide across the waves of the world to get to where she was, and now no one seemed to care. She told me she didn't think anyone would notice if she were to disappear forever. Lorraine told me sometimes she wants to disappear forever. She walks the darkened streets, hoping the night will take her away. Last Sunday I waited for her, as I always do. I had her magazines and scratchies at the counter. My smile was waiting to see her before it would appear, except she didn't. At 6 o'clock, I put the magazines back on the shelf and hoped she was okay. I still do. And this Sunday, I will keep her magazines and scratchies ready. My cheeks will not lift these lips to form a grin until my eyes have seen my favorite customer again. My heart will not rest easy. Let me tell you about Lorraine. Let me tell you how sometimes she wasn't just the best part of my Sunday, she was the best part of my week. May I imprint onto your memory how someone I saw for less than 30 minutes a month could somehow mean the world to me. She is so much more than my favorite customer. I don't even know her last name. But let me tell you about Lorraine. Let me tell you that I have seen how vast this world is. I have felt the weight of being so inconsequential it hurts. I have felt how Lorraine felt. Maybe you have too. So here, today, tomorrow, the next time you feel so small, remember, Lorraine means something to me. You mean something to someone. They will notice your absence, and they will miss you. I love this stomping. You keep that up. That's beautiful. Sweet. So before we move on to the next part, I'm going to give the judges a little bit of time. This is the most amount of time I'm going to give them. Just a couple of announcements really fast, and thank yous and things like that. And we'll go through a few more of these. But really quickly, I wanted to say a huge, huge thank you. Number one, give it up for the Going West Readers and Writers Festival. Give me a huge round of applause. And a big thank you to Creative New Zealand. And the Waitakere Ranges local board for helping put this on right now. So you can give them a round of applause. We're going to have some more announcements in a minute. And also tell you about some amazing spots where you can continue to see awesome performance poetry events. So we are ready to dig into our slam now. Everybody take a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3. Let it out. Nice. That was very nice. That was very nice. Minty fresh. Impressive for this time of night. I'm gonna say the poet that is on deck. Oh, and there's one more thing I forgot to mention. I got a little bit of the information wrong. It's not, you don't write anybody's name down on the ticket. You just drop it inside of the jar that you feel fit. Does that make sense? Just drop it inside the jar. Cool, sweet. We're awesome to go. So I'm gonna be saying the poet who is on deck, and then I'm gonna be saying the poet who's gonna be announced up every single time, so that doesn't confuse. And also, real quick, just so we can double check, the bell will sound like this. Cool, sweet, so the poets can hear it. We just wanted to double check that. So, on the count of 3, say word. 1, 2, 3. Word. 1, 2, 3. Word. Make a huge amount of applause on deck. Give it up, give it up, give it up. On deck, we have Eric winning the first round. Give it up for your first poet. Give it up for Marcus.
Who am I? I'm Papa Tuanuku. Everything, everywhere. Old brown river, moody bastard, stubbornly seated. Here, there, earth, blood, in, out, ancient. Who am I? I'm the kid kicking rocks down barefoot footpaths from Pangaru to Pōneke, following the whaia when the treaty marched from the past into the present and on to the future. Who am I? I'm the woman who said kia ora that memorable year. I'm the woman who bashed the engineers. I'm the woman who wore the weight of too many. The woman who built their place to stand. I'm too many bloody women waiting at home with babies for one-time fathers long since disappeared. Who am I? I'm Kawati with a gun seeking hutu. I'm Heke's angry axe splintered. Te Kuti's smoking Bible burned. Te Whitty's picket fence whitewashed. Who am I? I'm Rewi to the last fucking man. I'm Aoraki, Taranaki, Tongariro, Rua Pahu, Naroa Hoi, Tamaki Makoto, Ihu Mātao, Te Ao Marama. Who am I? I am the sneeze of life. Tihei Mauriora.
Something about being 17, I only care.
Everybody give up for Aaron! Check. Also cool. Give a round of applause for our sound guy, Aiden. Give Aiden a huge round of applause. Sweet. So that was Erin Garrity, who's an amazing young singer-songwriter, and she won the music category at Word Up last Friday at the Corbin Arts Center. Give a round of applause for Word Up. So we asked her to come and perform at this, and Word Up happens every year. You should check it out. That's what's up. Sweet. How's everybody doing? Did you have a good break? Did you get a little drink? A little drinky boo? A little high five? I love how like only Dominic is laughing at me right now. Sweet, cool. So give a round of applause for all of our poets in the first round. Make sure that you voted for our People's Champion, our People's Choice Award. There's all kinds of ways for us to keep going. And one thing I'd like to point out really quickly that's really important to mention real fast is that where there's a lot of poetry slams, a lot of poetry events all over the place. Remember, the slam is a game that we play. That's one thing, a phrase that's been passed on, originally said by a guy named Alan Duff way back in the day, is that the point is not the points, the point is the poetry. And then I like to add an addendum to that when we say the point is not the points, the point is the poetry. And by the poetry, we mean the people that say the poetry, right? Because it takes a lot of guts to get up here. So remember that this is not the destination. There's a lot of other stages around here, but it is a great place to be, and we are celebrating each other's voices and stories right now. So please, once again, applaud all the poets taking the stage. And so what that means right now, what's going to happen really quickly, is we are going to be saying thank you and we love you to 3 poets who we will see at another event. And I'm actually going to tell you, because I'm pretty involved in the poetry scene, I'm going to tell you where you can see some of these other poets after they're out. Is everybody cool with that? Sweet, and some other spots where you can involve them. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna say thank you and I love you to these 3 poets. Then I'm gonna read the order of the poets in the next round, and then I'm gonna tell you a little bit about each one of the poets that are gonna be that will not be in this final round. So you can figure out where you can see them. And also, if a poet said something tonight to you that meant something, go up and let them know. That's the reason why we do this. Say, yo, that touched me, or I believed in that, or that's something I've been wanting to hear for a long time. Give them a high five, a handshake. Be consensual about the touch. Don't go in for it, because that could be awkward. But in the meantime, I want you to put your hands together and give a huge round of applause for these 3 poets. Please give a round of applause for Jamie! Give it up, give it up! Give it up for Emma! And give it up for Dan! Applaud those poets! That being said, this is your order, so poets be prepared. This is the order in the second round. Oh, and something I wanted to point out with 3. We originally were going to jump down to 6, but there was a tie for 6th place. So we're actually taking 7 poets into the final round, or in the second round. Is everybody cool with that? That does mean the cut's a little harsher because we're going to go from 7 to 3. But that doesn't mean that there's 4 poets who get a chance to read another poem. But that being said, Jamie, give a round of applause for Jamie, one of the coolest people I know. Jamie is an MC at the Thirsty Dog for Poetry Live, the longest running open mic. He's published 2 books of poetry, which are amazing. I was very fortunate to get to MC his book release earlier this year. So please, give a round of applause for Jamie. Go pick up his book because it is worth every penny. Give it up, give it up. Our next poet, Emma. Emma is an amazing singer-songwriter, poet who's been kicking butt on the poetry scene. There's an event called the Jaffa Poetry Slam, and it's an adult poetry slam that takes place every 4th Wednesday of the month. You can look it up. Emma will be competing in the finals coming up in October. So if you want to come support that, please come check that out. Also, another poet who will be competing in that is the amazing Dan, who's honestly one of my favorite people in the entire world, the most charming, amazing poet and mental health advocate. So please give a huge round of applause for Dan, and know that he will be in the Jaffa Poetry Slam finals as well. So if you want to see those poets, go check them out. So, are you all ready to move into our next round? Yeah. All right, cool. I don't believe you actually are, so I'm going to try something really quickly.
I like to write about the great philosophical issues that confront us in modern society, which is why I wrote this poem called Parking the Car. Oh, it used to be easy parking the car. Just zap into a parking spot, no worries. Beyond half hour to the pub, and would she still be waiting? But it's different now, parking the car. I have to take aim and look in the rear vision mirror about 16 times and take aim again, and it has to be very good, because not only do I bring to this exercise much more caution, but also unwillingly much more speed, because my accelerator foot has fallen under the influence of modern binary thinking and only knows full off and full on. My wife helps. And at that delicate moment when I think that I am almost there, she calls, twist, twist, twist. And I know it's coming, but it always gives me a hell of a fright. I don't know whether she's twist to the left or twist to the right, and I'm still reversing and have to bail out with a sudden violent twist, and you're mounting the curb, she says. And the hearing's not so good anymore, and I think she said, curb the mounting. And this causes me to brake sharply, and she bangs her head. And if she was not saying what I thought she was saying before, well, she sure as hell is saying it now. So I get out, and I see the cars at about 25 degrees, and I know this won't be acceptable, so I give the front of it a big push, but it too is an immovable object. So I slide back into the driver's seat, but she who drives from the passenger side has holding her arms, and I told you to twist! So I try a new twist, but it's no better than the old twist. So I agree to shut my eyes tightly and just follow instructions. The tow truck driver is monosyllabic, but she does not see the virtue in this, and she goes on about insurance and excesses and expenses and taxis, and how the whole fabric of society will fall to pieces if people do not twist when they are so instructed. Words follow that cause the tow truck driver to blush. So I get out and walk away, wanting my life from now on to be straightforward and, if possible, straight back. Oh, she's left me now. And she's gone to live with my mate Murray. I think the thing that got through her defences was his bloody Lexus with its parking sensors.
For the meantime, on the count of three, say love. 1, 2, 3. Love. Welcome to the stage, your second poet in the second round. Give it up for Jesse.
My friend at the party says, but what if the guy is a genius? You just need to learn to separate the art from the artist. The first artist I ever fell for was James K. Baxter. I never got poetry before, but he hit me in the guts with it. I'd recite High Country Weather before bed like the Bible. We are born alone and alone we die. This year, they released a book of James K. Baxter's old letters. In them, he brags about raping his wife, Jackie, calls her sour little girl, a puritanical bitch. I read the whole article, though I already knew the ending. Though I'd already added another stone to the collection in my stomach. To be alive in this time is to see all of your heroes fall. To look anew at parts of you they shaped. James K. Baxter tells me yet, see the red gold cirrus of a snow mountain rise, but the words lose their magic when you know too much about the man who wrote them. My friend at the party says, you gotta separate the art from the artist. What I think he means by that is, I love this too much to let it go. I know the feeling. As I tear out Baxter's poetry, it takes a part of me with it. But what is the alternative? to let the wound continue to fester beneath the surface, to say his victims are the price we pay for genius. My friend at the party says, you gotta separate the art from the artist, but I am afraid of what the artists I looked up to have done to my art. I have called so many terrible men mentor, men who took my new-grown words fresh from the ground and twisted them to suit their story. Men who turned classrooms into hunting grounds for vulnerable kids with big vocabularies. Men who deceived their communities, who betrayed the trust we gave them and left us with nothing but more stones to carry. James K. Baxter tells me, ride easy, stranger. Surrender to the sky your heart of anger. But what does he know of rage? I am done separating the art from the artist. I am done mourning the lost work of bad men. I am done with this stomach full of stones. Their weight is not mine to bear. Instead, I carry them with me. The generations of women forced to be muses, I carry them with me. All the victims we stood on to see our heroes better, I carry them with me. Friends, family, easy strangers, we are born alone, and alone we die, but we are together in this at last. And with a rage that burns like a red gold cirrus, we ride.
Give it up for that poet. Awesome. We're gonna, everybody take a deep breath in. Let it out. On the count of three, say word. 1, 2, 3. Word. Another quick acknowledgement I want to make in the room too, just to acknowledge the people that have kind of kept this sort of thing going. I want to give a round of applause. There's a person in the room who's a friend of mine, and they used to run an incredible event called Poetry Idol. Give a round of applause for Penny Ashton, who's in the room, which is really awesome. It's important for us to acknowledge the people who've done the work before us, right? That's a good thing to do. So acknowledge those people, say thank you for doing this, so that we may stand on these stages as well. And yeah, cool. So in the meantime too, everybody say word. 1, 2, 3. Word. Awesome, cool. On deck we have Eric, but in the meantime, give a huge round of applause for Marcus! Give it up for Marcus!
Words. What's in a word? Words describe us. Words say, this is me, this is who I am, this is where I come from. Words belong to us, are us. Nouns, verbs, and adjectives. Yep, and adjectives. And adjectives describe the people we know. Dorks, dicks, dickheads, heads, spoons, wankers. And adjectives tell us how to relate to them. How does this work over here, you ask? Let's unpack your dork. What do we mean when we call someone a dork? Your dork. That's when your mate makes a mistake. Your dork. Yep, idiot face fucked up as expected. How can you tell the difference? Listen up. Hey dork, yes Dick, that's your mate. Hey dork, yes boss, that's agreement. Now let's take a look at your dick. Dicks can be friendly or foolish dorks, it depends. Your dick. That's when your mate does something silly but cool. Your dick. Unmate your mate. Well, on your other hand, you have your dickhead. You know you've met a dickhead when you say to yourself, fuck, I knew he was a dork. But you've also succumbed to being a dickhead too, because you knew he was a dork, yet you still went there. Let's crack your egg. Your egg's a fucked up dickhead. But But your egg loves spoons, and of course your spoon is quite special. Your spoon is a perfect blend of your dog and your egg. A dig. Finally, you have your wanker. Your wanker. What's that, mate? Your wanker. Who the fuck you calling wanker, Quasimodo? Nah, just pulling your dig. Proverbially, your wanker is someone who makes love to themselves. But when you call someone a wanker, I'm sure you're not saying, hey mate, you screw yourself, eh? No way. When you call someone a wanker, you're tossing it, spraying it everywhere. It's all going on when you're having a wanker. Your wanker is a fool, furiously frigging right in front of you. That's your wanker, right there, mate. So, if you don't want to be an adjective, then fuck up the name shame game. Simply call yourself Spearhead Danker. That way people will have to call you by your name.
Learn something new every day. Awesome, cool. Keep that applause going. Give it up, give it up, give it up for that pod. On deck, we have Abby, but next in this round, please give it up for Eric!
Whenever I say a poem about the Moana, a small group of people in the crowd roll their eyes, and I can hear the sighs all the way in the back of the room. Yes, I see you. So warning, here's another one. When anyone asks you why you continue to write poems about the Pacific, stop them at that exact moment and politely tell them the people they are referring to are known as Polynesians, Pacifica, or people of the Moana. They are a people. Put some respect on that name. Alternatively, if they are talking about the land or sea, tell them it had a name long before Magellan tried to colonize it. If they try and correct you, because let's be real, they will, feel free to make sure that the information they get from that dusty history book on their father's shelf, that they get down to you, you take a deep breath and blow the dust into their faces, and as they are sneezing, let them know there is no such thing as objective history. However, there are forms of history. More specifically, there are terribly written accounts of history. Feel free to call these out. These thieves dressed as heroes, the original catfishes, Magellan, Columbus, Cook. They will probably get agitated when you call out Cook. So make sure to specifically laugh at how Cook's revelations rested on the eyes and knowledge of Tupaia. They'll have no idea who you are talking about. So if you can be bothered, and only if you can be bothered, feel free to give them that good indigenous knowledge. Let them know that history is always written and delivered in at least two narratives. Speak in the narrative of your oral traditions. Stand in the ngafa, the whakapapa that you are made in. Flex the chants that brought Tupaia and his father's father's father from Tahiti to Aotearoa. Show the manu on your skin, show the manu in the sky, and then look and realize they weren't listening to a word you were saying. They'll probably be getting their next question ready, which is, so where is your written historical account of this? They will be smirking. They will definitely be smirking. To wipe the fiapoko smirk off their faces, play coy. Pretend you don't have an answer. And then bam! Hit them off a brown history lesson. Lesson number 1. Until 1972, first-hand Pacific accounts of history were not recognized in academia. Lesson number 2. This means that over 400 years of Pacific knowledge and history were falling onto deaf ears that refuse to listen. Remind them, they only listen now because of those who have bled their truths onto white pages. Take a second to acknowledge those future past ancestors. E pele haofa. Albert Wing, Konaya Helu Thurman, Teresa Te Awa. Put it blatantly, say it loud, say it over and over again. They only listen because of those who have sacrificed for us. So write another poem about the moana. And if their eyes roll into the back of their heads, let it be. Just pray they listen. We've already had 300 years of our history fall into white noise.
Give it up for that poet. On the count of three, say word. 1, 2, 3. Word. 1, 2, 3. Word. Awesome, y'all. So we're going to keep this one going. On deck, we have Rose, but next in this round, give a huge round of applause for Abby!
Ode to fourth desk on the right, mezzanine floor, my school library. You are the pinprick the sand of the hourglass slips through, which is to say you make time move so slowly. I am stuck in your vice, vicious sandstorms scorch the goosebumps in my cheekbones, trailblazing paper trails crumple essays into paper planes and hurl them towards their deadlines. Trajectories of attention spans, crash them into 7 seas. I am a castaway, cast adrift between the cracks in the system, swimming in stagnant ignorance, raising my hand to signal I am drowning more than asking a question. What about indigenous cultures? What about our own? I keep twisting the words I should be studying into poetry, colour in textbooks, turn them into blackout poems, redacted education. My history teacher blacks out when I mention the land wars. Go on a journey through the jungle. Safari through science fiction, ignore the tongues that are bound in leather, and the spines that have been broken stick to the fairy tale you were raised with. Fourth deck on the right is my white knight, ignore the bones she was built on, love her anyways. We fight sometimes when she is invaded by colonizer textbooks in economics. We learn gentrification is a great investment scheme in geography, the migration of minorities as if we didn't force them out, force-fed English until I forget I am a guest here, recite empty pepeha, though the Treaty of Waitangi sovereignty and history is about a people half a world away last April. The Education Board refused to include the New Zealand land wars in the curriculum. For the second time in 2 years, fourth desk on the right and I are weeping. I have a calculus exam in a few weeks. Here's a practice question for you. If it takes twice the recommended intake of caffeine for me to get out of bed in the morning, how many times do my hands shake as I regurgitate the same stale information onto paper? If they use whiteboards to whitewash my education, why can't I erase it? I can't express this in an essay. This isn't a sonnet I can study and dissect. This is an exam with no right answers. If in doubt, shape a circle that states the education system is exactly how it should be. It gives you the best chance of passing. I have a social studies exam in a few weeks. Here's a practice question for you. Explain the modern effects colonization is having on our children. If in doubt, write nothing, say your privilege got between pen and paper, they will give you full marks. Because we pride ourselves in forgetting our history. Addendum. Yesterday morning, the government announced that teaching Aotearoa's history will become compulsory in all primary schools by 2022. And the playground looks a little less like a graveyard. Acknowledging the monkey bars they built from bone, hopefully. A few more kids can grow up now without blood on their hands.
Everybody give a round of applause for James Littlewood real quick for helping organize this. And I want to give a quick shout out to direct funders for this slam directly. Please give a round of applause for the faux local board. Give it up, give it up, give it up. And And I gotta check this out because I can't read that handwriting. But there's another great sponsor that I want to mention in a quick second.
Rosebank Business Association.
Oh yeah, Rosebound Business Association. Give it up for that. I know them, but I don't know James's handwriting. That's all right. He's got a lot of pressure right now. So cool. So we're gonna move on. We got 2 poets left in this round. Y'all still with me? All right. So on the count of 3, say word. 1, 2, 3. Word. On deck we have Stella, but up next, give it up for Rose.
My shins were grown a full tassel. The would-be peak of fashion for nudist flappers in the 20s. But I was selling out to wear a pair of wedges for a friend's wedding. I lay back and thought affectionately of the patriarchy as a hot wax cloth tasted my shins and jerked back bristled like the tongue of a cat retracting. Waxing is akin to the backwards insertion of 1,000 needles. It is not relaxing. Oh, but I was just beginning to get into it when it happened. A grand betrayal of clinician to client trust founded on a framework of perfect small talk. The 10-stroke moment it took for her to sever the hair from my toes. Oh! Growing up, I had barely learned to color between the lines before beginning to shade my body into traffic light regions. Green meaning good to grow. And had I been a boy, I could literally have painted myself as Oscar from Sesame Street, epitome of macho virility. But I am not. And it had not occurred to me that a little texture to the toe was a source for shame. It had simply grown there, boldly riding my piggies to the market in general. Oh God, I should have tried shaving, laser creams, and epilation, threading, plucking, bucking, electrolysis, sandpaper, cheese graters, killing it with fire. The pursuit of beauty is like a band-aid, and sometimes it just makes sense to amputate everything and be free to roll around oozing femininity, finally perfecting a contour with the Freddy Krueger color palette telekinetically. It is called hirsutism, to have hair in undesignated places. And according to WebMDB, it is solely a woman's disease. More pervasive than freckles, genetic, harmless, and yet neglected as a remedy as a step-by-step for self-acceptance. Causes include testosterone sensitivity, a human hormone important for the pastime of breathing, pregnancy, or generally considered a fairly feminine activity, and menopause too. Oh, again, a thing less typical in men. It is a woman's disease of so-called masculinity, but to be a feminine female is not a given of biology. It is an oxymoron. And because to us compliance does not come naturally, we have a choice: to denounce bikinis or to break the boundaries and to start the ball rolling. I am going to share a secret. We all have a pinch of pepper on our piles. Just a few bean sprouts between our buns. Yes, all women have hair on their assholes!
Mr. Kettlestein.
Hey! Here.
We're about the same handsome fellas. Anyway, cool, give it up for that poet! And we got one more poet left in this round, and what's going to happen then is we're going to take another quick 10-minute break, and we're going to be back with another amazing performance, who I will talk about after they perform. And yeah, get some drinks, say I like you to a poet, and say a quick thank you to the for the staff for helping us out. Awesome, cool. You all ready for the final poet of this round? Yeah. Cool. On the count of 3, say word. 1, 2, 3. Word. Everyone on the stage, Stella!
A forecast calls. Have you heard? Hurricane Stell is approaching. From the waters I've emerged, pacing faster than Eminem's verses, higher than Mariah's whistle notes, louder than an AC/DC record. Thunderstruck. A forecast calls. Mother Nature stands before you. Recreate your conceptions. While you may see masculinity, you may address me as your majesty. I found my own tiara. A forecast calls. These hands house pride. For every raindrop that leaks from these eyes, light will refract, disperse, react, catching every queer drop. Reminding the world that after the rain, there will always be a bird to catch us. Forecast calls. The seas are rising. Others have tried to drown this sound, but I'm a siren, singing the pain they try to put upon me. Toxic words try to pollute my streams, rendering me a joke, telling my people a sickness, turn to sweet and succulent, hot and vivacious skin to dirt and lick this corpse 6 feet underground. Back it up, sister. This crown is filled with rainbows, put upright because this ferocious, hypnotic, contagious goddess, wig-snatching, tongue-popping, oh, fierce, fabulous, slaying, glamazonian, ain't putting her head down no longer. Sound the siren, scream your insults, do as you please. This vessel is now emptied of the judgment of those who are below my level. The lens that is glued to my every move like razors cannot hurt me. My body is vibranium, my bones are titanium, and this heart drums louder than words. You cannot break me. I am unbreakable, unquakeable, unshookable, unshockable, unclockable, ugly. We're gay, offensive, my little name. I am charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent, bitch. Let me tell you what a bitch is. Being in total control of herself, faggot. I am not afraid to cut thee. I am not scared to put thou in a ditch, cause Queen Stella ain't no punk bitch. I am the boom boom bullet. Actually, I am stronger than that, didn't you know? My whispers makes the wind howl. Wait till I scream. See the sandstorm arise when I snap these fingers. My mere existence makes the gay shook, the straight quake, and everything in between shudder. To all those who dare mock me, backstab me, bully me, threaten me, hurt me, use my name as a mockery, this hurricane will utter 3 words that will not fall on deaf ears. So listen, and listen well. Don't test me. Hurricane Stella is approaching. No one is safe.
Give it up for that pie! Give it up for all of our opponents in the second round! And sweet, so I'm gonna do a little thing real quick. What I want you to do real fast, everybody stretch up, put your hands up in the air. Put them up way high, everybody hold them up there. So something that's really important to mention right now is that, Carrie Wazinski, is there any way you can please bring me the I didn't write it down on my sheet, the thing. So, but keep your hands up. You don't feel it yet. So, quick thing we're gonna do is we're gonna say thank you and we love you, do a couple posts, but before we do that, what I want everybody to do is like this, put your hands up, pretend you're on a roller coaster, because sometimes life feels like that. It's a little bumpy, it's a bumpy roller coaster, give it a little bit of a bounce, right? Cool. And you're leaning back because you're going up the hill, so everybody lean back, lean back, lean back. We're going like this. You're up to the top, you're a little nervous, you're like, why did I get into this? Look over at your friend, you're like, what the fuck are we doing? Right? Look over, but you're going up to the top, and then you see that little maintenance thing, right? There's a little platform, you're like, shit, maybe I can get out, but you can't. Alright, so here we go, we're gonna go down the road, we're gonna scream together, we're gonna go, yeah! Give yourselves a round of applause, thank you very much. Sweet. So what we're gonna be saying now, is we're gonna be saying thank you and we love you to a couple poets, and I'm gonna be announcing the last 3 poets in the final round, and then I'm gonna tell you where you can see some of these upcoming poets, right? The ones that are gonna really see thank you and we love you, but we will not hear from again tonight. So, first off, please make a huge round of applause and give it up for Eric! Give a round of applause for Eric! Give it up for Tim! Give it up for Marcus! And give it up for Jesse! Applaud those poets! And that means welcoming into the final round. And this is going to be their order, all right? So, give it up for Stella! Give it up for Rose! And give it up for Abby! So I'm going to tell you really quickly, I'm going to go through a couple of these poets. Tim, give a round of applause for Tim. Tim is a poetry slam legend. This man has been winning poetry slams for like ever. and deservedly so, because he's incredibly talented and sweet and amazing. I know he's got some performances coming up, because I'm probably going to book him at an open mic, so please come up and talk to him. He's been all over the place, and a lovely human being, and just overall incredible, so please, show Tim all the love in the world. Yes, Timbo, even though I hate that, but we can work on that. Next, I want to say, give a round of applause to one of my favorite people in the whole world. Give it up to Mr. Eric Solkai. Give it up for Eric. Eric is an incredible performer who's been all over the place. He's a mentor. He's an incredible person. He's a member of the Auckland royal family of spoken word as well. So, and Eric is an organizer for the Jaffa Poetry Slam, and he will also be competing in the finals coming up in October. So please check that out. Right. That being said, our next poet. Give it up for Marcus. Marcus is amazing. Marcus has a degree in creative writing, a bachelor's degree in creative writing from MIT. He is an incredible person and a family man, and I know this for a fact. There's an event called Stand Up Poetry Open Mic that happens every first and third Wednesdays of the month, and I am booking Marcus for an event at that open mic. So please look it up, Stand Up Poetry. Marcus will be a feature towards the end of this year. And then our last poet up, I want to say, give a huge round of applause to the amazing Jesse. Give Jesse Fenton a round of applause. Jesse is not... Jesse's a poet and an activist and a freaking lawyer. She's amazing. So, and she's also an organizer of Jaffa Poetry Slam, and she will be in the finals as well in October, so check that out. Sweet, awesome, cool. So that means moving into our final round, we have three poets in this order. We got Stella, Rose, Abby. So y'all ready to get this Poetry Slam started? All right. On the count of three, say love. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Give me a drum roll. And welcome to the stage, your first poet of the final round. Give it up for Stella.
I am the glamorous, and for your information, the ultimate standard of beauty. Born from the seas of the Pacific, formed in the womb of a warrior, raised with the heart of a lover, breathing in the will of a survivor, living in the skin of a fighter. I am the Amazon, a woman of Wakanda, capable of all 7 wonders. On the tip of my tongue, fire, the bad and bougie, so you better get used to losing the hashtag steal your mans and his brother too. Hold up. Let me get the receipts, because this is too real for this. Okay. The one who does the least but still looks the most. The killer of careers. Tati Westbrook who? Sorry, I only know Bust Down Stelliana. The catch me outside, how about that, or whatever. Roll up my sleeves when a hoe wanna try and come for me. The act up, your wig's gonna get snatched up. Now they call me a monster. With the big wig, thick ass, give him whiplash. I think big get cash, make him think fast. Now they call me the snapper of necks. Wherever I walk, I hear the clicks, the cracks, is that Beyonce? I am the glamazon. I wear her like armor, suiting up for war each time I walk out. In this skin, you become a lone wanderer, fire bullets into your chest because they thought you were a pest. But I'm still learning to love, to walk, to speak, to look in the mirror and go, damn, you really are that bitch, you know that? This endless transformation, this transgression of limitations to what is beyond your thinking. Not living in fear is a lottery ticket. Unobtainable, out of reach, but I'm still trying. Brown, beautiful, and brave. Brown, beautiful, and brave. Me, myself, and I. I hail from the planet Glamatron, fierce and fragile. The pain and the beauty, the Polifol turned Stella Atawa turned Atua. I am the feminine and the masculine. I am the curls in the straight world. I am the okay, now oh. This is the wrath of Athena, the screams of Ariana with flowers blooming from my fingertips. This is survival.
Give it up for that poet! Awesome, sweet. We're gonna keep that going. I want to say a couple things real fast. Please give a huge round of applause for Going West readers and writers for doing such amazing work and keeping this thing going for years and years and years. It is awesome to be here to be a part of that. Please check out the full program. There's a lot of things going on this month, and yeah, that's what's up. So on deck we have Abby, but up next, everybody, give me a drum roll. And welcome to the stage, your second poet in Give it up for Rose.
It is 2 a.m. on a sticky dance floor. I am sober, swooning the hour out of obligation. Every limb on my body is Gamby, but I am behaving aggressively natural. We do the sprinkler. We do the dashboard dog. I do the coiled spring entering simple harmonic motion, and it's just hit resonance. Physics jokes. The heartbroken friend beside me arrived at that tragic misconception about town. She thought there would be dancing. Well, we're here now. And who can say for sure what to do with your hands, or your face, or your feet, or your life? Oh my God. Last week I turned 25. And tonight I pasted these pink glitter scales to my cheeks with eyelash glue. I am a quarter century and half a week in pretending to be a sexy snapper. I make a ravishing snapper. Oh, but I'd rather be hushed. No one can know the secret. Ah, crab sticks! It's a pop song! And they're sweeping their tongues around the lyrics like the dying stubs of Chubba Chops, acting all nonchalant, but I know. They have sat down together with cue cards and committed these stanzas to memory. And meanwhile, I am compelled to improvise the English human language. Soft now, yet confident. Every sharp TPK consonant is just another opportunity to sing out of sync for all to see that you don't know the lyrics. To any song released post the 1997 Spice Up Your Life CD. You never bought a band expander because you actually quite like RNZ. Hush now! None can suspect the secret of the Kindle in my fanny pack. Thank God they are back in fashion, because I can fit a Kindle in my fanny pack. An electronic bookmark sits a quarter way through The Handmaid's Tale. Praise be! There is an anthology in excess of 1,000 books in my fanny pack! And that guy grinding behind me thinks that I'd be impressed by his package. Prick, please!
Give it up for that poet. Sweet, awesome. Another quick round of applause for the Hollywood Avondale for having us, and just for being awesome and in general, and yeah, give a round of applause for our guy backstage, Tyler, for holding things down. Sweet. So we have one more poet in this round, and then what's going to happen is the judges are going to take a few minutes, right, to deliberate some stuff, and we're going to find out who our winners are. Also, who the people's choice is. Ooh. Yeah. 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 Okay, sorry. It's just, from my perspective, it's kind of creepy because that's coming out of the darkness. And it's like, yeah. Sweet. Cool, you all still having a good time? Give yourself a round of applause. And we're gonna keep this going for our final poet in the final round. Give it up for Abby!
When the whites of our eyes turn blue with phone screen tattoo ink, and our spines have curled over our desks like fingernails into wooden fists, we play. We pray for nat 20s, bless our combat board, 8 forks and 1 pot of mac and cheese in the center of the dining table, orbited like a golden brown sun, kissed our dice with every shake, rolling with the punches punished. For overdue internals poisoned, from every half-assed, half-baked, home-cooked meal poised, with figurines over tables, with bottles to lips, with safety pins to our skin, with every laugh breaking between our fingertips, giggles, breaking whispers, holding in laughter in a silent class until our chests are heaving. Circled storytellers on a soccer field, writing our magnum opus into textbook margins, texting under tables, sharing looks across desks, ride our dish trolley chariots through the underbelly of Eden Park. We are girl gladiators who are paid minimum wage. And we're coming for you. Knuckles dusted in DVD chrome dust, swept from elbow crooks by flaxen fingers. We shoot sleep from each other's eyes like tin cans hitting bullseye after bullseye. Sharpshooters holding sisterhood like sniper rifles. We take aim, and ink blooms like a bloodstain's worst nightmare. Pulling on the dog-eared pages of the new book we're all sharing. We've got highlighter green French tips and song lyrics where essays should be, because it's year 12, term 3, and we left all our fucks at the school's front gate, so we paint the road to hell is paved with good intentions on our blank study notes and see who can pass their restricted the quickest and who can last working at Macca's Balmoral the longest. We, queens of group chat throned, and gold hoops and gaming chairs robed, and blue baby blankets from the cupboard under the stairs cover us in our royal regalia. We are a patchwork friendship, arms curling around each other like loose stitches. We are gilded tongue jesters, performing our bullshit for the lounge like it's court, playing King's Cup like the baddest princesses in the land. Build our castle on the beer pong table. Welcome to our kingdom. Long live the queens. Long live the young girls who wafted breathing space out of thin air. Long live the lady knights who taught me to re-speak after I kept being told I was only good for breathing fire. Long live the priestesses who piloted my pilgrimage until we found God in the pages of the D&D player's handbook. And she let down her hair for us. And she gave us the keys to our own voices, our manacles, dripping like diamonds, cross-faded and crowned in diadems, rulers of Saturday night, regal in the halo of the kitchen light. Long live the girls at the dinner table. Long may we reign.
Give it up for that poet! Give it up for all the poets, and that is the end of our poetry slam!
Awesome. Quick shout out to Avondale Bowling Club and some of the amazing music that is coming out of Avondale. Check out my friend Mellow Downs. He's like one of the greatest ever. Sweet. So, hey y'all, we did this. We had a poetry slam. Yay! One of the most important things you remember this summer, I like to say again, like remember the point is not the points, the point is the poetry. And when we say the poetry, we mean the people. So if you see the people, go up there, say, yo, what you said meant something to me, and this is why, and just let them know, right? Because that's why we do this sort of thing. That also being noted, poets don't go anywhere. Because something that we also like is money, right? So every poet who is performed tonight is getting paid, which is a really important thing to mention. So that means, though, poets, you need to be backstage, okay? Backstage. So what I want to do real quick is I want to welcome out the top 3 poets in that round. So please get every poet who's in that last round. Can you please come out here on stage? And I will also be inviting out kind of like the leader of all things, the goddess of the slam. Please give a round of applause for Carrie Rosinski. And I want to do a quick thank you, real quick, huge round of applause. Give it up for Naomi Cleary, the chair of Going West. Give it up for Naomi real quick. And give a huge round of applause for Diane Blomfield. Please give them a huge round of applause real quick. I know those people very well, because the handwriting is awkward. So please, no, give them a huge round of applause and keep going, let's go. Yeah. announce, we actually have something we need to clear up real quick. And that is the people's choice. So, what's going to happen is I'm going to announce that person, and maybe they just want to stand up and wave at everybody, right? They can come up here if they want to, but it may take a little while. It's just there's like stuff, okay? So, but yeah, this dude stays winning. Like, basically what he does is win. So even when he doesn't win, somehow the universe is like, nah, he wins, alright? So because he's amazing and he's an inspiration, and I give him a lot of crap, but I love this dude to death, please give a huge round of applause for the incredible Your People's Champion. Give it up for Tim Heath. Give him a princess wave, Tim. Give him a princess wave. Yes. There you go, Tim. Oh wait, you got a prize, Tim. You got a prize, Tim, so if you want to come up here and get that prize. Yeah. Merry Christmas, Tim. Sweet, that's awesome. So, normally what happens is we announce what poets have left the slam or haven't won it, and then we say about what they're going to be doing. But what you're going to want to do is at the end of here, you're going to want to walk over here, take pictures, just applaud. So we're just going to leave this on a high note, right, with applause, everything like that. So, but I want to tell you a little bit about all three of these poets and where you can see them. So, quick, everybody give a round of applause for Rose. Yay! Rose has recently started her career as an artist, which is awesome, and she runs a community group and a Facebook page and a blog too, isn't it officially? Like, oh, I don't know. Anyway, it's called What's Happening Auckland Poetry, which is this amazing thing where she's like, yo, I'm gonna because there's so much going on, I'm gonna give you a centralized calendar where you can figure out what's happening all the time. So she runs that. So if you have ideas or events or things like that, get in contact with her, she'll put it up on that thing. So give a round of applause for community and poetry and amazingness. Give a round of applause for Abby. Give it up for Abby. Abby was the 2018 Word Up winner, which was amazing, and now she's here. I also want to point out the fact that Abby is 16 years old. Also, our next poet, give it up for Stella. Stella just won Word Up 2019, and was recently on The Breakfast Show, talking about it. Stella is also 16 years old. Quick plug, real quick. I asked James so I can make sure I can do it real fast. So both of these two poets are involved in an event called Word the Frontline. Word the Frontline is an inter-high school youth poetry slam competition that takes place in Auckland. This year there was over 200 young poets from 42 high school teams that competed. The top 6 teams will be at the Auckland Town Hall tomorrow night, right? Starts at 7 p.m., tickets on Ticketmaster, right? That being said, both of these two poets will be representing their schools at that competition. So if you are interested in checking it out, go check it out. That's the thing to do. So give them a huge, huge round of applause, both those poets. So, and they can let you know more about that stuff when we come up and talk to them. So, without further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, the second and the third prize, right? Cool. Yeah, sweet. So, wait, you gave me the machine, right? Did you? Or did you not? You did give me the machine. Oh, you did give me the machine. There we go. Sweet. So, give me a drum roll. In third place, and winning some money and a handshake, give a huge round of applause for Abby! Keep that drum roll going. In second place, give a round of applause for Stella! Which means your first place winner. Give a round of applause for Rose! Give it up for James and Going West. Check out the program, a lot more movements. And get home safe. Thank you very much. Peace.